So HomeFree-USA, we are here to move you up the financial ladder through homeownership. We are homeownership advisors. We're your partners in working together with realtors and lenders to help you get mortgage ready and moving to up the financial ladder through sustainable homeownership. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce the founder, the creator, the co-founder, along with her husband, Jim, and my father, the creator of HomeFree-USA, the mastermind, Marcia Griffin. Let's welcome Marcia Griffin and take it away. Marcia? Marcia, can you hear us? Can you hear me? Wait a minute. Oh, Marcia, just press *6.
Can you hear me now? It's just, I can't even hear you.
You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. I had some technical difficulties here. I could hardly hear what was going on, but thank you so much for everyone being here. We certainly want to introduce all of our listeners today to two companies that are absolute favorites of ours, Exit Realty, and of course the giant Wells Fargo mortgage, and we work with all aspects of Wells Fargo. This is really important. The time that we're in, the words that we need to express, and we want everyone on the phone to be about the business of homeownership, get informed, get educated, just really spread the word and touch others, because financial education, financial empowerment is the thing that will magnify certainly the Black community, but communities across this country. So we welcome you to our Build Wealth Through Homeownership series. We welcome you to, we have many other webinars and power sessions and master classes that will occur that you will learn from. So just stay with us, be about the business so we can all work together. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Milan, and I want you to certainly meet, or Milan, or should I introduce Janet and Jonathan? Janet. Okay, yep. Wonderful. Thank you all. Janet, Jonathan Runlett from Exit Realty, Mid-Atlantic. Want them to just introduce themselves, say a few words about themselves, and why they think this is the optimum time for to buy, optimum time for realtors to work together with our lenders and our nonprofit organizations. We need to get the ball rolling. The time is right. Exit Realty, I'll turn it over to you, Janet.
Thank you so much. I couldn't be delighted to be with you. We have such a wonderful partnership with HomeFree-USA, and we are delighted for all of our agents and brokers to be part of this large family. We believe that why is now is the best time to work with you, and we'll tell you a few things. I believe that working for our realtors and our agents, we have really strived for them to have a level of consistency, whether you work with one office or another office in a different area. We strive for them to be empathy-based and to be perseverant, to be genuine and to be transparent. And conscientious. We believe that those are key components. Those are basically our core values, as Jonathan and I have started with Exit Mid-Atlantic. And we would love for that to continue as we grow with our regions. I am delighted and excited to tell you that I am one of the first Latino women to be able to own a region within the real estate community, and you can do it as well. So there are no boundaries for anyone, so anyone can soar. And we are excited to help anyone, whether to buy, sell, or even become an agent or become a broker. We're here to help everyone to live up to their dreams. So I'll introduce my husband, Jonathan Runlett, and we are co-owners.
Thank you. And Marcia, Milan, we really appreciate this opportunity to be on here with you. It's such a tremendous organization that we're so proud to partner with, as they will give you a little bit of background of their company. I mean, they've been doing this now for 25 years, have helped thousands and thousands of individuals buy their first home, and have tremendous background where more than 90% of the people that they submit to lenders get approved for loans. So they're going to make sure that you certainly qualify before they even have you talk with lenders. And not one person that they've helped has gone into foreclosure in this entire time that they've been doing it. So it's a tremendous, tremendous organization to affiliate with and to help you go through this process. You definitely need people that are working with you to go through this process. You don't want to do this yourself. You do need to have trusted advisors, whether they be the realtor, the lender, the home inspector, appraiser, the title company. And HomeFree-USA will be more than happy to point you in the direction of the trusted advisors that they feel would work best with you. We're proud to represent Exit Realty in the Mid-Atlantic region. So we cover the territories of Maryland, DC, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. So anyone looking for properties in any of those areas, we have the ability to help you out. We have 41 offices throughout that territory, more than 1,200 agents. So certainly feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you in the process in connection with our trusted partners here as well. To find out more information from us, certainly just visit our website, which is simply exitmidatlantic.com, all one word. And you'll be able to see all of our different offices. You'll be able to get in contact with us. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. But Marcia and Jim have done a tremendous job with HomeFree-USA. And we really appreciate the fact that Milan and Marcia invited us here to be a part of this today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So quick question, Jonathan and Janet. You mentioned this in you mentioned this as you were talking, but I do want you to highlight this to all of our home buyers on the line. What are 1, 2, maybe even 3 reasons why now is a great time to move forward towards homeownership if you are not if you have not been hit with the great financial hardships due to COVID? Why is now a good time to buy?
So a few reasons. One, right now mortgage rates are at historic lows, so it's going to be cheaper. Your monthly payment will be cheaper if you're financing the purchase there. Also, because of the extended dates with the tax filings, a lot of us are now just filing our tax returns now and might be getting a refund back and can use that towards a down payment or closing costs. Plus, there's a multitude of loan programs that are out there right now that help people that are buying their first home with getting money towards down payment and closing costs. And depending on the area that you're looking to purchase in, like Baltimore City, you can get up to over $43,000 for down payment assistance. In DC, there could be over $100,000 towards down payment and closing costs. So there's a lot of loan programs, a lot of assistance that's out there for first-time home buyers. And, you know, again, we hope everyone is safe right now. We know it's been a difficult time these past few months where a lot of people have had to stay home and hunker down and may have been laid off or furloughed or whatever else. But restrictions are starting to be lifted. People are starting to get back to work. So, you know, you probably will now have that income coming in to be able to qualify for that mortgage. And we've been doing a lot of training with our agents to adapt the way that they help homeowners. So a lot now is more doing virtual home tours, doing, using FaceTime to do a property tour or whatever else. So there's ways that if you don't feel comfortable going out and going into somebody's house, that we still can help you through the process with a lot of the new technology that we've been training all of our agents on to do things virtually now. So whatever works best for you and however you feel comfortable, we will work with you through that process.
Sorry, I was talking, I'm on mute. Folks don't have to worry about going out to a home and catching anything, if you will. There are virtual open houses virtual ways to see properties. I know I've spoken to many of your realtors and your brokers, and they've told me about the extra amount of precautions that realtors have taken in the showing process and everything else. As you mentioned, down payment and closing cost assistance money is available. And what home buyers oftentimes don't realize is the fact that they can move from renting to owning with sometimes little to no money down. Everybody's situation is very different, and everybody's going to qualify for a different amount based on whatever your particulars are. But the great thing is in working with realtors that come from communities like Exit, who are empathetic to the client, who put customer service first. And I will say, you all also give your realtors a whole lot of training too, and that's one thing I do admire. You all give your realtors a lot of training and really prepare them for success. And so that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing when clients are looking at and thinking about which realtors they should work with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we make sure that everyone is up to date on all the latest technologies and tools that are available to help customers through this process, because it's a new normal now. We don't do things the same way, so we have to adapt, and we've been on top of that. And Exit is very big on technology, so it's actually worked to our benefit that we already had a lot of the tools and resources available to help people through this process. So it didn't take much for us to convert to the new normal that we have here today.
We're also educating our sellers as well to be part of the process. So our agents are also educating the seller as, you know what, you can use a video if you don't want someone to come in your house, and you get more from an actual seller as they're using a video explaining, and you get more nuances from the person that's actually selling the house. So that's something that we've also incorporated and educating our agents as well. So.
Okay, excellent. So Jonathan and Janet, we really appreciate you all. We appreciate all that you're doing with and for the community. For all the Exit Realtors on the line, shout out to you all. And I'll also say that we work with many college students who are interested in being a realtor and to really grow their community through this profession. So that's a session we have to have at some point, introducing them to mortgage and real estate professionals like yourselves on the phone. So we appreciate you all. We thank you. And as you mentioned, did you say you're the first Latina-owned Exit branch, or what? Tell me, preface that one more time for me.
First Latina regional owner within the Exit company.
Wow, very nice. That's very nice. Okay, that's very nice. So we're all working together to close the wealth gap through building sustainable home ownership. And as we shift gears, and actually before we shift gears to you, Ernest, I want to just talk to, and I did get your slides. Anyone on the line, please send us any questions. We have experts on the line who can really give you all some really good feedback. Any questions for Janet and Jonathan related to selecting a realtor, how to choose a good realtor? And actually, let's let that be the last question for you all. What would you suggest? What are 3 things that someone should do to select the right realtor, when they're looking to buy or sell their home?
Well, what a lot of people actually don't realize is that as a buyer working with a real estate agent, typically it doesn't cost you any money because the seller is typically paying the commission for both sides of the transaction, both the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So you get to leverage the knowledge and expertise of the real estate agent to help guide you through that process, and it doesn't cost you anything through that. But you certainly want to interview, because with the real estate industry, there is low barrier to entry. If we wanted to cut somebody's hair or to do somebody's nails, we would have to do a year's worth of training and probably $20,000 in tuition. But with real estate, depending on the state that you're getting licensed, here in Maryland, it's just 60 hours of pre-licensing, and it only costs about $400 or $500 to get your license. So there's a low barrier of entry, and there's a lot of people that get their license just to help out friends or relatives, but they don't have the training, they don't have the knowledge, and you don't want to just work with somebody just because you know them. It doesn't mean that they're competent and they can help you through that process. So you certainly want to interview the agents, find out how many people they've helped that are in similar situations to yours. Find out if they are familiar with the programs that can help with first-time home buyers, with the down payment assistance and other programs like that. And find out also how flexible they are to work with you. If somebody's working with a bunch of clients and doesn't really have the time to, put the time and effort into helping you see different properties that you might be interested in, you want to find somebody that's going to be flexible and work with you on the hours that work best with you to go around and see those properties. So certainly reach out, and we'd be happy to match you up with an agent that would work best with your situation and what you're looking to try and accomplish, whether it's buying your first home or whether you're trying to buy an investment property. We have agents that can help in multiple categories.
Good. Excellent. We appreciate that, Janet and Jonathan, and I'm going to get to your question, Ashok Kumar. I'm going to get your question in just one moment, but I appreciate you all so much. Let's give you a round of applause again. If we were in person, I'd even give you, I would say a hug, but we can't do that for the moment. So I give you a round of applause. Thank you all so very much. We're going to shift gears, and please stay on if you can, as questions will come in, but I know you all may have to run because your meeting. So whatever you can do, we appreciate. Ernest, I'm going to shift gears to you. Ernest is a mover and shaker at Wells Fargo. We are speaking to Ernest Campbell. He holds a position of retail mortgage market manager for Wells Fargo Home Mortgage in the greater Philadelphia, Delaware, and Maryland Shore footprint. That's pretty awesome. Mr. Campbell is responsible for all aspects of sales, quality, profitability, risk, customer experience, and team member development. You own the strategic direction for the markets. I mean, essentially, to sum it up, you the man. I mean, that's what we're kind of getting. You could have just said that in one sentence, and we could have just saved the rest. But Ernest, so we are really, really happy to have you here. And just let me know when you want me to show your slides, and I'll cue them up. But just wanted to take it from here and tell us a bit about Wells Fargo. And I just want to say, I want to thank Wells Fargo for their commitment to the community, to always being on the side that we've seen with our nonprofit partners. Wells Fargo has just been a tremendous asset and has really stepped up to the plate to move the needle on homeownership, closing the wealth gap amongst people of color, and really helping to be in the community, even through our other programs where we work in the community. So we appreciate Wells Fargo. We thank you for your service and commitment. And so take it away, Ernest. Tell us a little bit about why now is the time to buy, even during the pandemic, even when it seems like the world is about to end. Now is the time to buy. Tell us about that and what our renters and home buyers should keep in mind, and realtors on the phone.
Thanks, Alana. I appreciate it, and thank you for inviting me to today's call. I had a chance to cross paths with your mom, Marcia, at some meetings around affordable home ownership and how do organizations like Wells Fargo align with nonprofits to help them grow to scale and reach potential home buyers. And I think that may have been about 4 or 5 years ago. So the fact that she still has my contact information means I must be special. So, thinking about my journey personally, which brought me to the position of getting a mortgage, it's unfortunate, but, even thinking about real estate, there's not a lot of folks that go to college and say they want to be realtors or to be mortgage professionals. At that, we kind of stumble into the business either through passion or either through a friend or family, or in my case, a transaction. At 21, I happened to be a senior in college and had an internship in which I was making, $10 an hour, and to a 21-year-old, I was rich. And I thought about, what do I do next with the money that I'm making? And I happened to be engaged, and me and my wife, fiance, decided to buy her parents' home, $60,000 home in Kansas City, Missouri. I think the mortgage might have been $400, right? Gosh, I miss those days. And so just thinking back about the process and not knowing where to start. And it was with the nonprofit. They're based in Kansas City. They kind of took me along the journey. It took us along in the journey of how to buy a home. We did an FHA loan. We had to come up with 3.5% down. So you're talking, 15, $1,600, and we qualified for some down payment assistance. And the loan officer at the time who helped me through the transaction, let's just say wasn't that nice, right? And after getting into the business, I kind of maybe understood his mindset in the transaction. To be fair, in an employment situation, loan officers are making a lot of money off of a $50,000, $65,000 purchase, right? But I don't think that should have impacted my experience of the process, right? So being a first generation homeowner, I didn't know what to expect, and I really needed someone to help guide me through the transaction. Had it not been for that nonprofit that was involved, we may have not finished and complete that transaction, right? And so I thought to myself after purchasing that home, gosh, this is something I could do. I hadn't graduated yet, but I was studying business, and I just started interviewing with different companies and finding my way through becoming a mortgage professional. And that's really how I got into business. And so that's almost 20 years ago that now I've been in the mortgage business. Started as a loan officer, became a branch manager, grew a team, and now I have the footprint that you just mentioned earlier of Philadelphia, Delaware, and Maryland, and I manage about 75 loan officers. So along my path, I've never forgot the roots of why I've gotten into this business, no matter what position I'm in. And I'm sure my people that report to me or that have interaction with me would tell you the same, that I never lose sight of the small guy, because that first time home buyer today is your jumbo buyer of the future, right? And I would say that to real estate professionals and also to potential home buyers, right? It's not about the home that you want to obtain. It's about the home that you can afford today to get along that journey, because real estate is a big piece of building wealth and can help you get to that ultimate property that you want to purchase. So when I think about now, right? Go ahead.
Quick question, Ernest. Quick question. As you're talking about your commitment to homeownership and your dedication, not only to homeownership, but through your own personal experiences, you saw the need and the power of getting advice, getting guidance, getting partnership. And so with Black America, with communities of color in general, the wealth gap is huge. And with the Black community, the homeownership rate is the lowest of all other communities. So what would you say, just in your depth of experience, what would you say, what 3 things must be done to increase homeownership amongst all communities of color and the Black community specifically in this case?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think seeking the knowledge is one. I got, if you want to get those slides ready, I got 3 slides that we'll go over on, 6 ways to kind of get your process started. But I think, what if I would have been deterred just through the initial conversation? Because what I know in our community is we are not comfortable talking to bankers, right? And we're not comfortable going into banks and talking about borrowing money and loans. And that's always a difficult conversation. It's not one that you're prepared for either through schooling or even, if you do have both your parents in the household, to even have that conversation. That doesn't happen often. So we're really not prepared for that discussion. And I just think back, if I was deterred by the gentleman who was helping me with my loan, and then maybe I didn't become a homeowner, maybe I couldn't be able to give that advice and guidance to my children or to my friends and family and to my circle. So number one, if you know someone that's a homeowner, don't be afraid to ask the question. I tell you what, somebody who's proud about something, you never have to pull their arm to brag about how they got there. They'll be able to do it for you without asking, right? So seek the knowledge, I think, is number one. Number 2 is you can't be afraid of the unknown, right? Sometimes we have to step out not only on faith, but to step out to something that you're not familiar with. And that's why the guidance piece is number 1. And again, I reference friends and family because that's what we feel most comfortable with to start the process. And then I think thirdly, as Jonathan and his wife mentioned earlier, find the professionals, right? Reach out to the professionals. And I think for me, being one of the very few African Americans that are in my position in the mortgage business, I have a passion around bringing more African Americans into this business as a form of a career, because we feel more comfortable with working with people that look like us and understand us and have our background. That may not always be the case, but that's why sometimes we got to just step out and be comfortable with the uncomfortable. To walk through some steps, if you can pull those 3 slides up, I'll just walk through why now is the time and what are some processes that you need to get in place in order to start your journey. And again, I'm sure this will lead to some questions as we get through this. And then there's no one way to do it, but this is from my seat and in my opinion.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ernest. For everybody on the call, We're sharing the screen, but again, as Ernest mentioned, please add your questions to the chat or the Q&A area, and then we're going to go ahead and do a quick Q&A round. So please make sure that you add your questions to the chat, and why don't you move forward, Ernest, and just tell me when to go to the next slide.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So here's 6 tips when you're ready for your house hunting. Again, we talked about doing your homework with the help of professionals, right? I don't think that can be understated. I know that if I am going to have open heart surgery, right, I want to make sure that I'm talking to a professional who understands the process, the ins and outs, who's actually done it before, and not just speaking from a place of some book they read. But there are folks that are on the phone, as well as your title professionals, your insurance agents. There are tons of people that are involved in the home buying process, right? If you don't have what you think are the finances today, what you can do, which is free, is reach out to professionals to start to begin your list of people that you want to work with through the process and gain the knowledge of what you need to know before you decide to sign on a dotted line. I think this is the biggest piece that people take for granted, right? You should be prepared through the homework that you do with, again, these professionals that are in the mortgage industry and the home buying industry. That costs you nothing to do. There's nothing that's stopping you from starting that part today. So don't let anything delay you. Here's the great news. You're at home. You're in front of a computer most of the day anyway. You've got all the resources at your fingertips to do the research, right? And that's whether from what neighborhood you want to live in, what price point are you thinking about, where's the best school districts, like who's the top realtor in your market. All those things can be done from your laptop. So that's something you can start today. Number 2 is know what kind of payment you can manage, right? So, if you're paying rent now, you kind of have an idea of what you feel comfortable with as a payment, but this is where working with a professional, a mortgage professional, can help you see what do you qualify for. A lot of times we go out and start looking at homes that are way above our means, and we're setting ourselves up to fail. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to a buyer back when I originated that had dreams of a $500,000 home, but maybe had the budget of a $200,000 home. And then I had to be the bearer of bad news and have that conversation with them, which is sometimes tough. So I would suggest that after you speak to a mortgage professional and then get the idea of what payment you can afford, that'll better help you with your search to make sure that you're looking for a home that is within your means that you can afford. Because the biggest piece around sustainable home ownership is just not acquiring a home, but it's keeping your home. So I really appreciate the comments earlier about the people that HomeFree have worked with have not suffered any foreclosures, because that's the biggest piece that all of us on the phone want to help avoid. We want to help people acquire real estate, but also be able to keep it. Now, again, once you now have found out what type of payment you can manage, here's where you can start your house hunting from home, right? Again, the COVID-19 is not stopping us from being able to look at homes virtually. As you heard our exit partners talk about, that you can do virtual tours, you can do virtual online searches. You can now know what your price range is now that you know what type of payment you can afford. And again, right now, rates are still at an all-time low. So when you think about what's one of the reasons why, it's the payment affordability. Here in Pennsylvania, where we've been shut down for the last 60 to 75 days, there's pent-up demand of people who really are looking to buy but haven't had the opportunity to get out and to write contracts. And they have been able to start their search from the comfort of their couch on their iPad, phone, or laptop. So you can do this now without worrying about getting out and contracting COVID or being involved with a lot of folks face-to-face, right? You can do this from your couch. Number 4, understand your down payment options, right? So there are a lot of programming out there. And again, this is why number 1 is do your homework with the help of professionals. I don't expect you to know what you don't know, but a licensed mortgage professional in your market will be able to tell you what down payment programs are out there, what loans are out there. You don't need 20% down. That's still a big myth that I come across in the marketplace. You can actually get into a home for as little as 1 to 3%, just depending upon what programs or what money is available in your market. There are a lot of down payment assistance programs. There's a lot of bond programs in the market. You still have your standard conventional and FHA loans, which require 3 to 3.5% down. So making sure that when you have that conversation with your mortgage professional, what are you willing to commit to as a down payment? And I heard earlier we were talking about, where are some options of you to get that down payment? Well, maybe you have your first and last month's rent. That could be a source of cash for you. Maybe you haven't gotten your tax return back. That could be a source of cash for you. Maybe one of the things I learned with COVID is I've been saving more money because I can't go out as much, right? So if I think about why is this a good opportunity, hopefully over these last 90 days, if you paid off your Amazon account, you saved a little money. Now, for those of you that like packages coming to your door for Christmas every day, I can't help you. Maybe you should slow that down a little bit. But there are ways for you to prepare, hopefully now that you've been budget conscious over these last 60 days, that you can continue that momentum. Nothing's saying that you have to stop saving, but down payment is probably the biggest obstacle that people face when they are trying to purchase a home. And that would be obviously a big point of contention when thinking about how do I get to that next level after I've gotten qualified. I know how much I can afford monthly. The down payment is the next piece. And again, try to find out are there any other options in your market. Double down on your rainy day fund. I think that goes right into the savings piece that we were just discussing, right? One of the things that even my children have learned during COVID is to be able to save their allowance because they can't get out. So double down on your rainy day fund, right? So a lot of times I've had to tell people not no, just not now, right? And you have to put a plan together to reach that goal of savings. And one of these slides will go through and show the difference of what it looks like for you to be a renter and a homeowner, where your money is going. I think that'll be a pivotal eye-opening moment for you to see if you're renting today, what you could have done in saving for a down payment and also earning equity through the process. And then last, you've heard everyone on this phone say, embrace the digital tools, right? There are aspects of the home buying process that weren't available 5 to 10 years ago, whether it's from applying for your mortgage online, whether it's getting rate quotes online, whether it's looking at homes online, doing the virtual virtual tours where you can look through the entire home these days. Is really no excuse for you not to be able to do everything online to start the process. Even though I work for a large bank, we try to do as many things as we can digitally so customers can deposit their checks and take pictures of their checks and deposit them so they can access their accounts online. So embrace the digital tools. Right now during COVID, I understand the fear of wanting to get out the house. There are lots of tools that are available. So let's go through the next slide for me, Milan. It kind of gives a little deeper dive into some of the topics.
And a quick question, Ernest, that came in regarding FICO scores. Should buyers or sellers pay attention to the different categories, F4, 8, F4, F8, and what is the difference?
Say that one more time. Maybe I missed that.
It says regarding FICO scores. I'm not sure. This came in from Vino Lore. Regarding FICO scores, should buyers or sellers pay attention to the different categories? And they just say F4, F8. But if that's kind of a tangle, why don't we switch it in a different way to say regarding credit scores, what is Wells Fargo's credit requirements for your affordable lending product? And why don't you quickly tell us a little bit about that? And what down payment programs do you all provide?
Every lender is going to be a little different. Our minimum FICO for our conventional affordable product and our FHA product is 640. If we have a customer who's a veteran, again, thank them for their service, but their minimum credit score would be 600. Typically, if you want to be in a great financial credit situation, obviously the better your credit score, the better financing you're going to qualify for. Once you get above that 720, 740 range, you can basically be in control of what offer you can get out there in the marketplace. I don't want that to detract people from going down the path, but it's always good to know where you stand. One of the good things about us here at Wells Fargo, if you have a checking account with us, you can sign up to get the free credit report alerts every month, and it's not a hit to your credit, it's a soft pull, and that's a great way for you to monitor your credit. But I would say entry is somewhere around 640. And as you get up above those 700 ranges, with the max being 800, you pretty much can qualify for the best financing that's out there and that's available.
And for folks on the line, don't feel like you do have to be, I'd like to say, pretty financially when you go to the mortgage lender. When you are applying for your loan and the mortgage lender, like Wells Fargo, starts looking at your finances, that's when you really want to really be in a position of being pretty or financially with your credit and everything else. But we will work with you at HomeFree-USA to get you to that point if you're not quite there, so you can move forward. Okay, we're going to go ahead to another slide, and then I'm going to get and ask some more questions for you.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Milan, we'll be able to pass this deck on to those that are on the phone so they can reference it. This just goes in more detail on the 6 bullets that we talked about earlier. I won't spend a lot of time because I like to be able to spend some time answering questions. But again, if you weren't able to take notes as fast as I was talking, which I sometimes have a bad habit of, here are a lot of the details for each one of the bullets. I think this last slide, Milan, if you can go to the next slide, I think will be a highlight of my actual presentation, is looking at, let me see if I can move this over, looking at what the difference is in being a owner and a renter, right? So this example is for a home, let's say purchase price is around $257,500 with the buyer putting down 3%. And if the buyer today is spending upwards of about, I don't know, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 a month in rent, there's somewhere around $19,000 a year, right? And so I've never known a rental lease that doesn't increase over time. So you'll notice that annual rent is increasing. Obviously, your mortgage payment, your principal and interest would be fixed on that loan. This is on a fixed rate loan. Your taxes and insurance could increase, but in this example, we're using principal and interest. You also get a federal tax savings as long as the government's allowing us to do that for mortgages under, I believe, $750,000, which this one will qualify for. You can deduct the taxes on the taxes that you're paying on the interest you're paying on your taxes on your mortgage. And you'll see the loan balance in the first line at $250,679. So within that first year of you becoming a homeowner versus a renter, you gain equity of $6,821. Whereas as a renter, you spent $19,200 and had nothing to show for it. So for those folks that say, well, I'll just wait. Okay, I want you to think about that. You're basically waiting to spend $19,000 in that first year with no return and no equity, versus if you decided to jump in and buy, you would have earned at least $6,821 in equity. Also the difference in what you were paying in rent versus a mortgage payment. I don't know if you can see the very bottom of this. My screen is kind of getting cut off. But at the end of the day, over a 10-year period, had you decided to make that decision and purchase that home versus waiting, you see at the top, you would have saved the mortgage payment difference about $44,000 and had equity of $136,000, which would help your net worth, right? Which is what we're talking about, right? Wealth is created through home ownership, would help increase your net worth about $181,000. The longer you wait to jump into the mortgage side and the home ownership side, the things that you don't understand is, will rates increase, right? Will property values increase, which they have, right? You can talk to our exit partners about the values of homes are going up every year. So while you wait, your buying power depreciates because rates could increase, and also the value of homes are appreciating. So this just gives you a visual understanding over a 10-year period of, you know, what financial situation you could have been in should you have decided to purchase versus waiting and continuing to rent. Hopefully this gives a better visual. Milan, I'll turn it back over to you to see if you have other questions that maybe we can answer. And I'd love to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to get these 3 slides.
Yeah, so we'll send this to you, and I will say, Ernest, look, I own a home, but after looking at that, look, I want to get another one. But I will say, once you see the numbers in front of you, and I like to say, when you're renting, the longer you stay, the more you pay. And you're exactly, you know, just as you mentioned, it's a very rare situation where a landlord is going to knock on your door and say, you've been the best tenant in the world, let me reduce this rent for you. So, you know, so it's good. I like that chart because you really do bring it home with the numbers. And so a couple questions here, which is, if you have student loan debt and your credit score is good, would you recommend paying off the student loan first before buying a home?
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. It depends on your total financial picture. I can tell you that there's a lot of folks with student loan debt, so I understand that. I think I've got 15 months left on my student loans. Not that I'm keeping track of it, but I totally
you know, you're ready to break up with Sally, huh? You done with Sally, man.
Yeah, Sally Mae is in Delaware, and every time I drive by there, I have evil thoughts, but that's another conversation. I wouldn't say necessarily pay them off first. The first thing I would look at, because student loan debt is typically at a lower rate, can you refinance those loans? Do you have the best rate and payment that's out there that's available? Have you looked at a graduated term? Because what happens a lot of times, how student loans are impacting folks is because of their debt to income ratios. And so I think that if you are waiting to pay off student loan debt before you acquire a home, that's not a decision that I would go with, because you're not building equity while owning a home and purchasing a home. But again, if your ratios are being so impacted that you cannot afford to buy a home, maybe you decide to knock off the highest rate loans first so that you can free up some monthly capital for you to be able to afford it. But I would definitely get with a not only a mortgage professional, but also an accountant to see is that the best decision for you to make.
Okay, good. And, and again, like you said, just kind of restated your point, with the student loans, everybody is extremely different. And I think a lot of times renters end up staying on the fence and not moving towards home ownership because they think their situation is so big, so bad, or whatever, with student loan debt. But it's all about the strategy and the plan, like you said. And so, HomeFree-USA, again, we're home ownership advisors. We partner with Wells Fargo. If you feel like you need a little bit of help and guidance and a pathway to approval before you speak to lenders, please give us a ring. I will provide our contact information in the end and provide an opportunity on behalf of Exit and HomeFree-USA to provide a free mortgage assessment so we can really get your foot in the door, move you forward. And for all of our realtors on the phone, this would be a great time to get your clients a pathway forward. We meet a lot of people who want to buy a home. I think the dream of home ownership is still alive. It's just getting the plan to get through the process. And so another question, Ernest and Janet and Jonathan, I'm gonna come to you in a second. With programs in general, can you get down payment assistance from more than one source? And talk to us a bit about Wells Fargo's any down payment assistance programs. Are you all still offering Neighborhood Lift? Because that came through as well. And any other programs that you offer to reduce the amount of down payment that's needed for buyers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, we still do have the Lift program. I don't know where we're at because of COVID right now, because that was typically a face-to-face where we got in front of a large audience of people. I don't know what our future plans are with the program. I would say a lot of the down payment monies come from local municipalities and cities, and then we work together with them with our first mortgage products to use those programs. So every market is totally different. So I would, again, find a professional in your local market to go from there. If we're just looking at a first mortgage product alone, we offer a program called Your First Mortgage, which is a 3% down conventional product. And we also still do FHA, right? There's still that product out there. And then for those folks that qualify for VA, which is a 0% down, or USDA, which is a 0% down program, we still offer those programs within our portfolio. So Your First Mortgage is one of our most popular programs for those that are looking to purchase their first home because of the low down payment option of 3%. And also there is a component of a $750 closing cost credit if they decide to do the online homebuyer education, or if they decide, more importantly, to go to Home Free and do homebuyer education through you guys and bring us their certificate. We'll give them $750 knowing that they're a more qualified and intelligent buyer by going through that process. So those are some products that are within the Wells Fargo suite when you're thinking about low down payment options.
Excellent. And so as you mentioned, there's a lot of programs that are available depending on where you're buying. You have city programs, state programs, sometimes even your employer offers programs that you may want to tap into. In Baltimore, for example, University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins, they offer upwards of $17,000 and $18,000 towards your first home. And so as we close up, I'm just going to go to our 3 panelists rapid fire, and I would like you all to, and if anybody has any other questions, we got all the questions in the chat, but if you have any other questions, and actually let's just get this one last question, and then we're going to do a rapid fire. One piece of advice you would give to home buyers and or realtors related to why now is the time to buy, or encourage your clients to do so. So Ernest, you talked about credit scores a bit before. Tell us again, has the baseline for credit scores in general for lenders been impacted due to COVID?
Yes, I will say they have. For us, we hadn't had to make a change because we were already a little conservative with the 640. I know I've heard some lenders going below that, and I'm not one to speak on whether that's right or wrong, but I know that because of the high rate of unemployment and the way that we don't know how this is going to long-term affect credit profiles, you have seen some lenders change. Again, there's no like set rate that or set credit score that every lender uses. So you will see some of that across the market, which is to be expected with what COVID has done in the marketplace.
So, all right, so let's move quick, fast, rapid fire round. Each of our guests today and our panelists, Jonathan and Jonathan from Jonathan from Exit, Ernest Campbell from Wells Fargo, of course, Marcia Griffin, president of HomeFree-USA. Let's give one piece of advice, inspiration, motivation for those on the line, why now is the time in the midst of all the chaos that's going on, why is now the time to really make the move towards homeownership?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Just one of the things that popped in my mind, and I just think about a transaction that I did. I'm glad to hear those folks with student loans, and it sounds like we're dealing with the millennial population. Listen, you may not be able, and I know how it feels. You graduate from college, you get that first job, and you want that mini mansion, right? And so you're holding out till you can afford to buy that mini mansion instead of being like me and buying that little $50,000, $60,000 starter home, which I have today still. I still own. I only have about 5 more years on that property. But if you're staying with a roommate now in college, or you're accustomed to staying in dorms, why not buy a property where you can have roommates come in? Or why not qualify for a property with a college buddy or someone else that's graduated with you, where you guys can go in on a property, split the down payment, split the mortgage, and both be earning equity during the time of the process. And then maybe you guys can split on your ways and buy your own home, or you buy a 4-bedroom, you rent 2 rooms out. Not only are you not a homeowner, but you're a landlord as well. Be creative. I know we want that mini mansion home, or you want that condo in the city, and you just can't afford it yet, but don't let that stop you from acquiring real estate and building some financial wealth for you and for the ones that come to follow you.
Excellent. Janet and Jonathan?
Yeah, and with, again, interest rates being at historic lows right now, it's the most affordable time to buy a house. And as Ernest was saying, don't wait to get your ideal home. At least get out there, get a property right now that you might have to put some sweat equity in, and do a little fixing up yourself, so that you're building equity in your property and it's costing you less, because a lot of times with these lower interest rates, mortgage payments are actually cheaper than rent payments. So instead of you paying down a landlord's mortgage, you could be paying down your own mortgage, building up equity, getting the appreciation, getting the depreciation. When you look at wealth building in the U.S., no other category has built more wealth for individuals in the U.S. than real estate. So you definitely want to participate in this. And when you look at a lot of the wealthy people, people look at Warren Buffett and a lot of these, very rich billionaires, and what they do is they say, well, whatever the mass is doing, I kind of do the opposite. So right now, when everyone's kind of scared and on the sidelines and not sure whether they're going to go out and do that, this is an opportune time to go in, because sellers might be a little scared that their prices may have dropped, because the last time we went through something like this was a financial meltdown back in 2007, 2008. And guess what? Prices for houses dropped dramatically. I don't think this is the same type of thing. We're not, this is more a health scare than it is a housing scare. But there are a lot of sellers out there thinking that, oh my God, my house price might drop. So they're looking to make a deal and sell their house for, a percentage of what the list price is, just so that they don't get caught with having their value of their property depreciate too much. So it's a great time to get out there and start building your own wealth by getting a piece of the pie and owning your own home.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Exit Mid-Atlantic. Marcia, give us closing words, and then we're going to give you all the next step that everyone should take advantage of. Free mortgage assessment with HomeFree-USA. We're going to end at 1 p.m. on the dot. Marcia, why don't you go ahead and give us some final words? We put his star set.
There we go.
Yep.
Why should we buy? Well, guys, it's because you can. And the bottom line is that we need to have the will, we need to have the preparation, and we need to have the desire to move forward. Nothing is going to happen in our lives with us sitting down. The essence of these webinars, which we call power sessions or master classes, is to give you the information and the inspiration to move forward. As we look at social unrest and justice issues in this country, we also must look at our financial and economic stature. Where are we going? This is the time to buy something. Come to HomeFree-USA, go to Wells Fargo, an Exit Realtor, in wherever you are. There are nonprofit organizations, HUD-approved nonprofit organizations around the country that can help you to better yourself and to get your finances in order so that you will be approved. We don't want any denials. Guys, as Ernest showed, look, these realtors are getting, not the realtors, the landlords. The landlords are getting rich. You are paying their mortgage. And just remember that you can, you will, and move it forward and use this this Builds Wealth series as a way to inject the kind of information that you need and want to make your life better. I'll guarantee you, you will love your home, whether it's a little place or a big one. It's going to be good, it's going to be yours, and you're going to feel a lot better. Thank you so much. And guys, you all have done a great job with Janet and Jonathan and Ernest. Thank you all so much. Both of these companies are companies that we highly recommend and work with. And I'll turn it back over to you, Milan, for closing remarks.
All right, everyone. So the time has come, and I would say that this is the ending, but it's actually the beginning of something special. It is the beginning of your path and your journey to home ownership. And so our home buyers on the line, our renters on the line, Exit Mid-Atlantic, Wells Fargo, we want to see you succeed as a community of real estate mortgage leaders. And so we invite everyone on this line, and for your realtors, call your clients, write them, send them a telegraph if you need to, an email or whatever, and encourage them to take the first step with a free mortgage assessment. So HomeFree-USA, again, we are nonprofit home ownership advisors. We work alongside realtors like Exit Mid-Atlantic and lenders like Wells Fargo to help you to, as home buyers, and for clients of realtors, to help you get mortgage ready, help you get prepared, help you get your credit in line, and provide you the opportunity to find down payment and closing cost assistance so you can reduce the cost of becoming a homeowner. And so again, not only did what Jonathan said is exactly right, with mortgage rates being so low, your mortgage payment may be cheaper than your rent payment. And to give you something else, with the amount of down payment and closing cost assistance that is available, again, you have to qualify, and we'll help you to find and qualify for the programs that fit your needs. But even with down payment, you may be able to buy a home with the help of down payment and closing cost assistance and put less down on your new home than you would a new apartment or a new car. So let's act smart, you all. Let's really get going, and let's use the setback of life with the pandemic and everything else to really take a step forward. So your time is now. Schedule a free mortgage assessment today before 6 p.m. We're offering 25 slots to folks who want to move forward. Our email is HomeFree-USA@HomeFree-USA.org. I want you to call 855 if you prefer to call us. We have live folks on the phone, 855-493-4002. I'm going to leave this slide up. Again, email us, HomeFree-USA@HomeFree-USA.org, or call us, 855-493-4002. I appreciate everybody's time. If you have any questions that came to mind and we didn't answer them, just go ahead and give us a ring, and we're going to move you forward. Thank you, Exit Mid-Atlantic. Thank you, Ernest Campbell with Wells Fargo. Thank you for your partnerships, and I wish everyone a glorious day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Be safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.